To a cruiser, the anchoring systems are very important for peace of mind. I built mine around a 110-pound Bruce anchor that's on 350 feet of 3/8 high-test chain. I use an ideal hydraulic anchor windlass with a Wildcat to handle it, and I've got a rope capstan on the other side. I have 3 chain lockers, all with concrete floors and drains that are connected together that make it an isolated compartment ahead of the crash bulkhead. The boat is built with 4 independent watertight compartments, the anchor locker being the first one. I also have 4 spare anchors on board, and you might ask why I need 4 spare anchors, and it's just for peace of mind. On the aft of the boat, I have spare line reels if I need to do a stern anchor or tie to a tree or a rock on shore. I've got floating lines, I've got nylon lines, braided lines, all different kinds. Whatever I need, I've got it on board. Thousands of feet of line. Now coming inside the boat, just behind the crash bulkhead is the main head. Now it is done very much like a home style would be, with a large walk-in tiled shower. The fixtures are all Kohler. For my commode, I use a Dometic electric flush with a built-in macerator. It's an extremely large, comfortable, easy to use head. In the master head, the countertop is granite and the sink is sculptured stone. Our stove is a Force 10 3-burner top with an oven. We have a trash compactor, a Fisher & Paykel drawer dishwasher, 2 sinks, 1 saltwater and 1 freshwater, a disposal, and a Fisher Paykel full-size refrigerator. The main salon includes, I have a workbench with a maple top. At the workbench, I've got storage bins for electrical parts, fasteners of all sorts, and under the spiral staircase, we've got all sorts of plumbing, fittings, spare pumps, and things that we might need in case of emergency. The electrical panels are located right above my workbench top. I have both 12 and 24 volt test receptacles so I can rebuild a pump and run it on the bench before installing it. 120 volt AC and 240 volt AC. The pilot house is set up with ample room for the big important job of running the boat. It's got plenty of room for additional instruments that may be added later, a large chart table with storage beneath and lighting above. Hydraulic steering is direct, non-feedback hydraulic steering. Of course, the anchor controls are located in the pilot house. Behind the pilot house bench seat is a pilot berth where your partner can sleep on overnight passages and just be an arm's length away with the person who's running the boat. It also folds down and makes into a small double bed for kids or a single for an adult. The main stateroom is all the way aft in the boat, and it's as fine as you'd see in any boat around. The bed is a queen size walk around with a 9.5-inch thick Simon's Beauty Rest mattress, innerspring type mattress. There are 25 drawers in the master stateroom, all with dovetail joint construction. We have library for several hundred books and at least 100 DVDs. But one of the neatest things is the half bath that we put in the master stateroom for those nights when you just can't quite make it all night long. The engine room is near walk-in height, and the focus of the engine room is the John Deere 4045 naturally aspirated diesel engine. I chose the John Deere engine because it's a wet sleeve engine that can be rebuilt in place, naturally aspirated because there's one less thing to go wrong with it in a turbocharger, and it is keel cooled and dry exhaust. So we've eliminated a saltwater pump and pulling salt water into the boat. We've eliminated the injected elbow, which tends to be a problem, and the heat exchanger. This is the way a lot of commercial boats are done. It's more expensive, more trouble to do, but gives extreme reliability and long life. Besides the main engine, we have the 9 kW Northern Lights generator set. We have a 45 kilowatt hour diesel boiler for our hydronic heating system. We have an engineered installed automatic fire suppression system, hot water heater. We have a fuel polishing system. It's an ESI fuel polishing system that uses a Raycor 1000 for its main filter and a 120 volt motor to really move some fuel and stir up any debris. It's got a debug unit on it and separate manifolding and plumbing from our engine and generator supplies. Our engine and generator supplies go to a filter area with separate manifolds, and we use a duplex Raycor for the main engine and a single Raycor 500 for the generator set. Both the engine and the generator set have an automatic oil change system. We've got a 20-gallon waste oil tank. That waste oil can be cleaned up by the polishing system and blended back into our fuel so nothing is wasted. The pilot house roof is interesting in that it is also a rain catchment area. There is a rim around the outside of it, and then the aft corners go through scuppers into some plumbing with dump valves. The dump valves are normally left open so that any water caught goes overboard until all the salt and seagull poop has been washed off. Then you change the setting on the dump valves and it runs down into a 30 micron 20-inch spun polyester filter. From there it goes forward in the boat to a 10 micron pleated paper filter and a charcoal filter. Considered a motor sailor, I do have a mast and a sail on it. This is for an emergency get home. I could go somewhere downwind with the sail that's provided in the mast. The boom is used mainly for cargo handling, for handling the outboard motor on the dinghy, and for lifting heavy things onto the aft deck. Up the mast halfway, I have an interesting feature, our crow's nest. It allows somebody to get up at a higher position and look for coral heads at a better angle. There is a hatch in the roof of the pilot house that gives a direct line of sight and communication between the person in the crow's nest and the person operating the boat. But the main function of the mast is to support and help operate the passive paravane stabilizing system. Now, if you've ever watched Deadliest Catch, you see that these boats have a passive paravane stabilizing system that they use in tough conditions. And that's exactly what I would do. In passage, I'll put the poles out and leave the birds in their holsters until needed. When the birds are needed for rough conditions, I have a launch line that I just pull on. The birds come out of their holsters and drop into the water where they run at about 11 feet below the surface. My most ambitious dreams. I have designed, built, and cruised an amazing vessel that I believe is the ultimate couples boat for liveaboard, passage making, and the cruising lifestyle. But as they say, all good things must come to an end, and so it is with me. It's time for me to move on to my next project. So, with heavy heart, I am offering to another dreamer of gorgeous blue seas and faraway places. Mariner and actor Sterling Hayden once said, "The dreams of youth lay caked in dust upon the shelves of patience, and suddenly it's too late, for the tomb is sealed." Don't let it become too late for you. Live your dreams.